Hello and welcome to the Gfinity Arena here in London for event 3 of the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. Tonight we are racing in Mexico City, but yesterday we were treated to an absolute thriller at the Temple of Speed.
The 5 lights go out in Monza, and we are racing for the 7th time this season. Marcel Kiefer is being demoted down, and he's off the road again. Incredible stuff between these two. The Haas goes past McLaren, Ronhaar back to the front. Freddie Rasmussen trying to go around the outside and succeeding at the Roja. And this time he does take the lead. Barry Barman hits the front. They're off the road. It's a thrilling battle. And Thomas Ronhaar takes the lead. Thomas Ronhaar has won his 2nd race.
Truly breathtaking action there, and truly breathtaking guests joining me tonight. Maxime, MXM, Hayden Gullis. Maxime, so good to have you back in the studio. Yesterday, you were at the Williams HQ. How cool was that?
Yeah, it was amazing to visit the F1 team for the first time, see all the cars, the history, the prizes, the trophies, and it's just amazing. But it's also good to be back here with you guys.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you said that, Maxime, because myself and Hayden, we were very jealous. Have you been to the Williams HQ?
I haven't. Have you been?
No, I haven't.
Maybe we can go together.
Yeah, if we put in a good shift tonight. But I tell you what a shift the drivers put in yesterday. So entertaining.
What a race we had yesterday. I mean, usually we used to seeing DRS trains around there, but we didn't really get that. We had the DRS train, but there was battles going on all over the place. And an incredible last lap battle between the top 2. Brilliant.
Yeah, guys, if you missed it, let's confirm the race results. So here you go then. Thomas Ronhaar picking up his 2nd win in his maiden season in the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship. Well done to him. Closely followed by Barry Boromond, and what a battle it was. He had pole position, Nicolas Longuet, but after that bit of collision in turn 1, he was unable to hold on to that lead. Danny Bresny, his teammate, picking up the best result he's had in a few years. DHL fastest lap went to Daniele Haddad, picking up some very valuable points for Team Williams. So what does that do for the Drivers' Championship? Well, Lucas Blake is still out on the top, but closely followed by Freddie Rasmussen, and your reigning 2-time champ, Jarno Opmeer, still down in 5th. But look, there's 5 more races. Anything could happen. And I tell you what, Red Bull currently in 2nd place, behind McLaren's shadow, have it all to do, but tonight is a good opportunity for both drivers to pick up maximum points. So, it would seem fitting, mentioning the fact that Red Bull need to pick up maximum points. I want to talk about that battle, Maxime, between Thomas Ronhaar and Barry Boromond. It went down to the wire. What did you take from it?
Yeah, Thomas is already battling like for races and races with all the amazing drivers. And this battle was just like it. He just knew when to use his energy, when to use the DRS and stuff. And at the last time where he could overtake in Ascari, he did it, and that was his last chance.
Yeah, now obviously we know Thomas Ronhaar is the Dutchman flying the flag for the Netherlands, but also Jarno Opmeer is another Dutch driver. Do you feel like people now, Dutch people, will be supporting more of Thomas Ronhaar, or still proud to be supporting Jarno?
I think, of course, it's Thomas' first season, so people need to get to know him. Jarno still has a lot of support, but the last couple of races Thomas has performed better, but let's see what Jarno can do today.
Confirming they're stealing the Dutch fans. 2 wins. He definitely is the real deal, isn't he? We thought maybe, hey, this is a flash in the pan, but he's consistently there in quali and picking up, well, another maximum amount of points again.
Yeah, he's performing great and very consistent, and even like the reaction of winning is like he's getting used to it. So he's like, yeah, we can continue like this.
Yeah. But now, Hayden, yesterday we learned that maybe we might give away too much because we still got to get to Mexico. But I just want to stay on Monza for a little bit longer, if I may. Alfa Romeo, brilliant in terms of picking up points. 3rd place for Nicolas Longuet. I know he did have pole, but Danny Bresny, his first points, he didn't get any in the 2021 season. This is the guy that's been on the podium 14 times. They must be very happy with the result.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be absolutely thrilled with it. It's been a good season so far for Nicolas, but for the other 2, they have been struggling, and we're watching back the highlights from yesterday. from the guys, and it was teamwork. Nicholas was on pole position yesterday. The lead kind of got away from him, but then it was all about the teamwork. He was helping out Danny Beresne, who maybe didn't have the pace of Nicholas Longuet there. So they had the tactic of Nicholas tucking over to the inside, giving Danny as much of the slipstream as possible to tow him all the way down that straight. But then just before the braking zone, would pull back over to the left to cover off Freddie Rasmussen, so he couldn't go for that overtake. Brilliant teamwork and maximise the points they could get, third and fourth.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching a vision of him there, Danny Beresne. But in terms of the quali, it was finally brilliant to see him get into Q3. And that's the sort of form of old we expect from him.
Yeah, I think we've been critical of Danny recently, but that's because we know of the driver he can be. You know, you go back 3 seasons ago, he was winning with Mercedes, winning with Alfa Romeo back then before he's now recently come back to them again. So we know how good he can be. We know he can be up there. We know he can fight for race wins. So seeing him out in Q1 is not what we want to see. It's not what we're used to. So we're glad now Danny Beresne's back. Well, not today, but he is back. Maybe for tomorrow.
A little bit jealous that Steph got a hug off him yesterday, because I definitely was.
I was. I mean, I used to hang out with Danny all the time, so where's my hugs?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll ask Steph right now. She's all the way in Zurich, Team Alfa Romeo. Steph, we missed out on a hug yesterday from Danny. That's how happy he was. Are the hugs all around today as well?
Do you know what? Hugs are all around. We actually just shared a Chinese. Second Chinese ever for you, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. I usually do my own food at home, and I'm not an expert, so I try to keep it easy.
Well, there you go. We're besties now. We're sharing meals and everything, so don't be too jealous over there in the studio. Maybe you can join us next time.
Yeah, that isn't going to happen. Myself and Hayden didn't get an invite to Williams, but Maxine is here back in the studio. We're excited to see how well Alfa Romeo did or do today compared to yesterday. It was a fantastic result. So are they looking for the same sort of amount of points?
Well, look, it was a fantastic result for the whole team yesterday, and there was a massive high after it. I mean, Danny, you were driver of the day as well. How long did you give yourself to celebrate before you start getting your head down and thinking about the other rounds this event?
So the whole evening, it was hard to get my energy levels low and go to sleep, because obviously to score some points after such a big break of not scoring and getting the driver of the day at the same time is a huge achievement for me, as I practice a lot behind the scenes, and all esports drivers do, but at the end of the day, the spectators from the outside only see the top guys, but everyone puts in huge effort, and to not walk home with an empty hand, but to get something out of it, what you work so hard for, it's amazing, and I was really relieved after the rest of the race.
Well, I could tell there was honestly such a great buzz around the factory, wasn't there? But tell us, was it pre-planned that you weren't actually going to race around Mexico? Was it always supposed to be Tomek stepping in, or was that a last-minute change?
So we always plan who favors which tracks, and we practice accordingly. We try to use our time the most efficient way, because if we have 3 drivers, we need to use them the most efficient way, and that's what we are doing. So no matter what happens, we keep ourselves to the plans, and hopefully it pays out today.
Well, there you go. You did give us a little sneak peek that you might potentially be back in for COTA tomorrow. Can you confirm that that's true?
Yes, sorry, I spoiled the Instagram images that we do of the driver lineup now, but it's true. I will race tomorrow.
Great. So this is not the last we're going to see of Danny Beresne. You are on great form at the minute, as we saw yesterday in Monza. What can you hope for the rest of the season?
I just hope to keep it up. All in all, just not be nervous in the qualifying session, put the laps in. And then when it comes to racing situation, I really enjoy myself. I try to think ahead of my rivals. And yesterday, it was an awesome teamwork between me and Nico. Hopefully today the guys can show something like that as well on track. So I'm really looking forward to the race. It will be very strategical. The ERS management, especially for that one long straight, you need to be very smart with your hybrid power.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for all of your insight. We're going to wish the guys behind us good luck for the race and throw it back to you guys. See you in a bit.
Thank you very much to Steph. Thank you very much to Danny. Besties right there in Zurich. Question I want to pose to you, Hayden, then, is after they performed so well, Nico and Danny Berezny. It's obviously pre-planned that he wasn't going to race today, but should maybe they stick with that partnership when they race in Mexico today?
There's two different ways you can go about it. Like Danny has just said there, they want to make sure they use all their time most efficiently. So Danny's going to focus on Cota and he's going to focus on Monza, whereas Thomas can focus on Mexico. And that means that you can get as much practice as possible, put as much hours into two specific tracks. Now, we have had a situation today where one of the drivers in Williams has dropped out and Daniel Haddad has had to step in. So if they have done that tactic, then it's not going to help you out at all if you have to jump in last minute. And you maybe haven't got as much practice as the other drivers.
Yeah, well, listen, we will find out how quali went today. Follow me as I go and join our commentators for today. Some call them the Maroon Brothers. Here they are, back again in fine form. Gentlemen, Monza had a little bit of everything. Did you come on, this is not the first time in 2022 Pro Championship this has happened.
I'm not sure it's close enough.
Yeah, it's
is it close enough?
It's actually different.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Well,
you tried.
You're two very
I love your
different
shirt, though.
Thank you very much.
Shirt of the day.
Should I need
Yeah.
them? Gentlemen, Monza had a bit of everything. We expected a DRS train, but it still had thrills and spills.
Well, I think the thing that we took from that was different strategies, and it allowed for, yes, DRS trains, but we saw two of them, Buremund and Ronha, just clear off, and they went for something very different. You had a soft and a medium start for those two, hards for the others, and they couldn't keep up with the differing strategies. So whether we'll see that again in Mexico, I'm not sure. Very different kind of characteristics for tonight, but yeah, it was nice to see a variety of tyres.
Yeah, variety of tyres. Interestingly, Danny Berezny picked up on this point that you got three drivers. They can't spend all the time focusing, so they're spreading that sort of time management. Do you agree with that? You had such a good performance yesterday. You'd want to see Danny Berezny out there again today.
You would. That's where the organisation and a team, say the chairman, would really come in and order things with the drivers. I think that you have to respond to who's in form. You know, who's in form, who's looking the best. I don't like the preconceived plan.
No. Go with the flow. And I'll tell you what, they went with the flow today. As Hayden said, Williams missing Alvaro Carreto on technical issues. So Daniele Haddad stepped up, but didn't get out of Q1, unfortunately.
No, I mean, if you're stepping in at a last minute, of course, he knows his way around Mexico, but if you're not completely dialed in when going into qualifying, you're going to struggle. And unfortunately, Daniele Haddad did. And as you can see, Prishneda not happy at all either with his steering wheel. David Tanitsa also struggling, not getting through out of Q1, which was a big surprise. And then alongside Evans, Porridis, and obviously we saw Prishneda hitting his wheels. So, yeah, Tanitsa was the big shock.
Yeah, a lot of laps being invalidated. And Alex, you stepped into Q2 in quali, which doesn't happen often, but there you were. And as we found out, if the lap's invalidated, you will not continue to commentate on it.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the rule. Paid by the word. So if that goes wrong, I mean, there are a lot of fine margins out there, a lot of tiny moments with big repercussions.
Yeah, Simon Weigand going out, Brendan Lee, also Joni Tormula. Brendan Lee, we expected a little bit more from him in that Ferrari team. Now you've got a driver out in Q1 and in Q2. It's not ideal going into the race tonight.
Certainly isn't. Ferrari've got a lot of work to do tonight, just like Mercedes did yesterday. And there's Ronha having a big moment on one of his laps in Q3. It didn't hurt his grid position massively come the end of Q3. Freddie Rasmussen, Alex Jake said at the top of the show in the quali earlier on this afternoon, he felt that Rasmussen was going to bounce back, and he absolutely did. It was a brilliant performance from him. Nicholas Longate invalidating.
Yeah, had a good lap, but invalidated, and that's put him well out of position, hasn't it? Disappointing for him.
And in terms of the team championship, McLaren, Barry Borman and Lucas Bay only scraped into Q3, and we were surprised with that. But Freddie Rasmussen, this is a guy that has had the 2 times in the Pro Championship we've raced at Mexico. He's put it on pole both those times. Add another one in, that's 3. However, here's the little fact for you, hasn't gone on to win it. Both times, Jarno Opmeer has picked him to the post. But in this sort of form, Jarno Opmeer is there or thereabout. He had to show some form, and he did today.
Yeah, it was a brilliant qualifying. Look, you can see P3 on the grid for Opmeer. I think that may well be the highest he's been all year, and it's great to see him in the mix in round 8. And if you remember, last year we had a bit of tactics going on between Opmeer and Rasmussen, a little bit of running wide. Do you remember that? And then some games towards the end of the race. So Will we see more of that tonight? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, so there you go, Barry Boromund and Lucas Blakely, 7th and 8th. Is that going to... I mean, because obviously there's a Drivers' Championship to go for. Both Barry and Lucas want it. Could we see them playing as a team, or is that driver desire, that ego, going to be on show tonight?
It's a big call. I think at this stage you've still got to work with your teammate. It's such an advantage, certainly protecting the driver ahead. You can worry about that towards the end of the year.
OK, now this guy here, Tomo, probably it's for Alfa Romeo, where Steph is tonight. He went from 20th to 10th, picked up a point. That doesn't happen ever, really, in F1 Esports. So is there a chance for him to... he's leaving it to the last minute to try and get a point.
Yeah, his qualifying hasn't helped, again, unfortunately. And, of course, last time, I don't want to take away from his performance, but it literally was an even split of 10 drivers on wets, 10 drivers on intermediates around Zandvoort, and thankfully for him, he chose the right tyre, and that allowed him to gain those positions. If it's a dry race, he's got a hell of a lot of work to do in order to score points, but never say never. It can all kick off.
Yeah, Alex, Marcel Kiefer.
Yes.
Not shown the form that we come to expect from him, but when it matters, and that's right now, just after the midway point, he's put in a shift today and is going to be in a position to help his teammate, Freddie Rasmussen. He
will certainly hope so. His race yesterday undone by 3 corners where he found himself shuffled out every single time. He can't afford to do that today. Yeah, he's got to be the supportive teammate that Red Bull have relied on in the past. They've won the team championship with both those guys in the past. So yeah, quali. Green shoots of recovery for him.
OK, well, listen, Maroon Brothers, I can't wait for this. Alex Jakes, Matt Gallagher. We're going to have a quick break. When we come back, we will have all the action from Mexico City.
If you beat him, you have similar setups to him, so it's proof that you've beaten him on raw pace on the day, and the managers can compare you and see that you've been the best.
The feeling of finishing ahead of your teammates is always great. You feel like you've done the maximum that the team was able to do, but there's always room for improvement.
Finishing ahead of my teammate is just the same feeling as basically getting ahead of your main opponent, because your teammate is your main opponent.
Of course, everyone's always comparing you to your teammates, but the way I see this series, it's mostly a team championship. So let's say my teammate wins a race and I finish P5, I'm still going to be happy for my teammate.
I wouldn't say it's there's a kind of feeling for it, but I mean, of course it's good to finish ahead of your teammate because you know you're doing things good.
Finishing ahead of your teammate is probably the first aim you have, but it's not always going to happen. So when it happens, you can be happy about it. But if it doesn't happen, then it's not the end of the world.
I think being a teammate is, I think everyone underplays it a bit, but it's a great feeling because you know that you're using the same equipment. There's no excuse really. There's no, he had a better setup, he had a better car. And it tells you on a personal level that you perform.
I think the main goal is to finish as high as possible with the team. I'm not too keen on beating my teammates, and I just want both of us to be up there.
Actually, winning a race, usually the first thing that I do is look where my teammate finished, because at Oracle Red Bull Racing we are really focused at the overall team performance and not just what the individual driver does. So, for example, last year in Monza, even though I won, when I saw Freddie got spun out in the final lap and we could have potentially finished 1-2 again like we did already in Austria, I was really mentally down because I was upset that Freddie didn't finish where he should have finished and it was out of his control. So it is a good feeling and you're happy about being first, being technically the fastest best on a single racetrack, but it matters more to me that we all succeed together as a team.
Beating your teammate is not really something I care about much.
I don't honestly care too much about it. It's more that it reaffirms the fact that if I drove well, if I beat my teammate, then yeah, I must have done well. If I felt like I drove well and my teammate still beat me, then I know that there's work to do and I can't be satisfied. But if you can beat your teammate, it's certainly a nice little confirmation that you're doing well.
Welcome back to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. I'm Tom Deacon. Joining me is Hayden Gullis and Maxine MXM. I was given a bit of stick to Alex and Matt for going the Maroon Brothers. We're the Tan Brothers. We've got this to do, then we're off on a safari. But before that, I want to talk to you, Maxime, about where this race is going to be won and lost.
Well, like tyre management and ERS management is a big factor here, but also like turn one, I think we'll have some pretty good action in lap 1, so everybody has to get through there without crashes, but let's hope some people can gain some positions.
Yeah, in the past couple of years, Hayden, we've seen some incidents 2 or 3 wide in that first corner, so avoid that and then hopefully kick on for the rest of the race. Who do you think is going to be taking this win?
Oh, I think actually Jarno Opmeer, I want to go for him. He's starting in P3, and I think that's the best place to start because you get that slipstream down into turn 1, can jump the guy who got it on pole. And then I think ERS management is going to be crucial around here because you just burn through it in 2 laps. So if you can control that, have it at the end of the race, you can easily get your rival.
Yeah, 36-lap race, one of the longest in the calendar. Mental ability to sort of stay focused for that amount of time, especially when maybe in that first corner the race hasn't gone your way, you've taken a hit, there's something happened. There's going to be a lot to sort of think about through this race strategically, Maxime.
Yeah, I wonder like if we see multiple strategies again. Like yesterday, we saw a lot of different tires, different strategies. And if something happens, you need to adjust quickly and hopefully damage control, so you still can get some points. So, I wonder how it will go.
And the big question is, I mentioned it before, Freddie's been on pole 3 times, the 3 times that we've raced in Mexico. Is he finally going to take that win? I know you reckon Jarno's going to do it, but what does he have to do to make sure he stays on pole and just finishes the race?
Perfect start, first of all. We need a perfect start off the line to try and, not allow the 2 behind him to get that good run into the first corner, defend the inside line. And if he comes out of turn 1, 2, 3 on top, then it's just a case of managing the driver behind. You don't want to give him that opportunity to save that battery and then overtake you at the end like Thomas Ronhard did yesterday. So there's a lot that's going to be on his mind, but Freddie's, he's old school. He's been there for a while. He knows what he's doing.
OK, well, that's how we see it on the desk. Nearly time to go and join our commentators, Matt Gallagher and Alex Jakes. But first, let's get excited for this Mexican Grand Prix.
Here in Mexico City, it is colourful, it is vibrant. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen is into the lead. It's all going on in that first corner. It's now or never for Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen wins. Sergio Perez comes home third.
Viva Mexico! We have gone beyond the halfway stage of this championship now. There are no errors available to the drivers without serious repercussions. Matt Gallagher, it's Mexico City. It's the longest run down to turn 1 of the year. It could be a frenetic opening few corners of the race.
Yeah, I mean, they've touched upon it on the desk a little bit about the slipstream, the run down towards turn 1. It's going to be so crucial, not for Freddie Rasmussen if he gets overtaken perhaps by Opmeer or Ronhard, but the fact that you just want to survive those first few corners because it can get very tight, very narrow, and then just settle yourself into the race. And as you can see here, the 2.6-mile track.
17 turns. That first turn, very, very easy to make a mistake, go over the grass. If you make the corner, it's very easy to cut across turn 2. Really distinctive. 3 sectors of the lap, stop and start. At the beginning, obviously the main straight, and then you've got the sweepers in the middle, the stadium section towards the end of the lap in the Fora Sol. Very easy to lock up into 13, very easy to be frustrated. If you haven't quite got the car balance, 13 onwards is painful, and today car balance is going to be everything, as is tactics, because is this really a race that you want to lead?
Well, we're going to find out very shortly, aren't we? Speaking of car balance, especially through the S's as well, we saw in qualifying, I think Freddie Rasmussen getting out of shape, Ronhard extending and cutting the corner. And that's going to be another thing that I think Danny Beresne mentioned in the quali show, was that it's very easy to extend track limits here. And if you get 3 warnings, you get a 3-second penalty. And that can drop you so many places.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something to watch in the first few laps as the drivers get used to the heavy fuel loads.
So they will have to gather themselves together. In the context of the championship, this is a big day for Lucas Blakely. He's in a bit of bother with his qualifying spot. It's the sort of day where if you gain a couple of places off the start, it's all right, it's manageable. If you lose a couple of places off the start, could really be struggling. We're looking at our championship leader. He's been in that position all the way through this year. This is a big pressure race, though, for him.
He's got to dig deep. You know, it is a difficult position where he's starting, but at least he's with his teammate. There can be some kind of gamesmanship there between the two of them to try and push forward. But yeah, there is still an opportunity for Lucas Blakely. You've got the likes of Otmir up there, who's got not much to lose from that position. He wants to get on the top step of the podium this year. He doesn't want to have 2022 as a year he wants to forget.
The problem for Otmir today is it's not, you might say sometimes, oh, it's complete caution to the wind. If he crashes early on here, he spent most of yesterday towards the back. If he had an early crash here, it's just a season of woe. And that's not really the case. He's trying to get on board with it. We know that he's a two-time champion. We want to see him back to his best. We want to see him competing at the front again.
We do. And the best part of his racecraft has been the race pace and the strategy. And the fact that he's starting third puts him in such a strong position to potentially win this race. And I cannot wait to see what Otmir has up his sleeve. And I'm also going to be eagle-eyed to see the tyres as we get onto the grid as well. But yeah, if you're the likes of Burman, Blakely, maybe you're going to be trying something slightly different to get in the mix with Rasmussen and Ronhard. Those two are going to be brilliant to watch as well.
So we move to our front row, and those in the mix, also including Barry Borremund, fantastically judged yesterday, but not quite enough to take the win. Like the idea that he was going to turn it into a scrap. Quite like those tactics yesterday, but in the end, the tyres were too old. Here, though, is the man to beat. Looking to try and convert a pole position around this circuit for the first time, the man who set such high expectations for himself as he chases a maiden driver's title, used to podiums, used to poles, used to wins, but looking for that title for the very first time, having taken Red Bull to the team championship in the past. This is a circuit where he has been strong, but can he do what he's not been able to do all the time and be strong with the racecraft in the final few laps? And it's a big day, not just for Freddie Rasmussen at Red Bull, but also for his teammate, trying to play himself back into form. Marcel Kiefer waiting for an opportunity at the sharp end of the grid for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and that's going to be really important for Freddie. If Marcel Kiefer can gain a couple of positions at the start, all of a sudden Red Bull can deploy those brilliant tactics that we've seen over the years where they've been able to secure almost maximum points in some of the races, 1-2, and Marcel Kiefer starting P5 is going to give him a great opportunity to get involved and to help Freddie Rasmussen, not only in the team's championship, but also to help Freddie maybe secure a driver's title as well.
And here's the man who's impressed absolutely everyone so far this year. Mighty in the Pro Exhibition. And the man who has arrived in the Pro Championship and just been immediately at home. The only time it's really gone wrong for him all year long, when he had contact with Freddie Rasmussen in the opening race of the year. And they're the drivers on the front row of the grid. They're the drivers debating victory today.
He's been fearless, Ronhard, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it unfolds, as I believe the race is about to begin.
We saw him sit up, and here are the reason for 5 red lights in Mexico City. Lights out, and we are racing. We leave the line with a good reaction time for our pole sitter. Now, can Otmir get into the slipstream? We're line astern as we go down to turn number 1. You can see the Haas driver pulling out of the slipstream. Otmir tucks in behind Rasmussen, and is that going to be the inside line? Is that going to be the race lead? Oh, it's super brave from Rasmussen to keep his foot in and keep the race lead. He's on medium tyres, and that is going to be tight and risky from Ronhard, but he's on the hards, and that means it's a little bit of a different warm-up phase. The top 3 are in the same order that they left the grid, with Edu in 4th, Blakely in 5th position, then Barry Borremund, Marcel Kiefer, Shanaka Clay in 8th, Longe and Tormala the top 10. It's Rasmussen who, crucially, against all expectations, holds the lead.
Blakely and Borremund, what a start from them, 5th and 6th. They've gained a couple of spots from the start. Marcel Kiefer has dropped down a couple, starting on the hard tyres. Interesting to see Ronhard starting on a different tyre to Freddie Rasmussen, and crucial as well to be sitting in P2 as well. Freddie Rasmussen is going to be getting a move on, trying to break that 1 second window. He doesn't want Ronhard sitting in his slipstream in the first part of this race. Freddie Rasmussen has to make the most of these medium tyres.
Yesterday, we saw things decided very early on because a driver was able to get out of DRS range, and Shanaka Clay very close to spinning the car there as he lights it up standing on the power, and Nicholas Longuet and him are battling for 8th position as we come across the line. And now we move to P2 because Jarno Opmeer's getting there on the superior grip of the medium tyre. Opmeer getting past and crucially doing so in a way, and Edu goes through as well. So the medium tyre is obviously the one to be on at the moment. That's exactly how you would expect it, but if you've got the grip, you've got to make the move. Now, can Rasmussen do everything to break out of that 1 second window, or are we about to see them go wheel to wheel? Look, the medium tyre in another league at this stage, and the driver who was debating P1 into turn 1 is down to 5th.
Yeah, Ron Hart just being swallowed up at the moment by the runners on the medium tyre. Such an important move from Opmeer, Edu and Blakely to be able to stay with Freddie Rasmussen. There was a potential, if Ron Hart was able to hold it, that Freddie could have broken away. Here's the start from the McLarens, and Shanaka Clay has been absolutely swallowed up by both the McLaren shadow cars. Same with Marcel Kiefer, and that's a great start from Burman considering he's on hard tyres as well. You wouldn't have expected the grip from there, and I cannot imagine he's going to make it too hard for his teammates as Blakely swoops round the outside, making it the inside as well, and that's such a crucial start for Blakely.
Well, it's massive for him because it was looking like a tough day ahead. We said if he could gain a couple of places at the start, what a brilliant position he would be in. And that's exactly where he has found himself. Nicholas Longuet, he's got the tyre advantage. The hards are really not playing ball at this stage. Simon Weigang has gone for the soft tyre, and both Astons have gone for the soft tyre. You can just see every metre that Longuet is running. Now, this is a driver who had a chance, had the nominal pace, given what we saw in qualifying earlier on, to be in the top 5, but he extended on his final flying lap. It cost him, and he was starting down the back, so he's trying to make up for a minor, tiny error in qualifying that had a huge repercussion.
Important first stage for Longuet. If he can make his way through Kiefer, Burman and Ron Hart, all of a sudden he's on the back of the rest of the medium runners. We can see that it is, well, Opmeer has just fallen out of a second, and it's very, very close. Freddie Rasmussen clearly pushing on incredibly hard to try and break that DRS, but even just out of a second, Opmeer will get a distant slipstream. It won't gain too much, but as you can see, Opmeer just closing within that 1 second again, which is crucial for the Mercedes driver. As we look at Longuet, all over the back of Marcel Kiefer. These are important laps for Longuet. You don't want to be losing DRS to the cars ahead.
What's interesting for Longuet is where the medium runners are really benefiting is in the traction zones, and the final sector is basically only traction zones. Once you get through the exit of turn 12, Longuet to the inside, there he go there, and he's made the move as we expected. It's brave stuff. He made it work. Kiefer doesn't want to fight too hard. He knows the race could come back to him. Early in the season, oh, it's getting tight in the background as well. Joni Tormela on the charge. Not something we've seen in a while in the championship, and he finds his way through as well. So Kiefer dropping down the hard tyre, taking a lot of pain. David Tanitsa is out.
Yeah, Tanitsa, I think he had a problem at the beginning, which meant he had to have another pit stop. And Tanitsa has called it a day. 4 laps into this 36-lap race. Of course, no safety cars or anything like that enabled. So Tanitsa has decided enough is enough, which is a big shame for the Ferrari driver. Speaking of Marcel Kiefer, which we're looking at right now, of course, he's on those hard tyres, and it's almost just trying to minimise the amount of time lost. It doesn't matter so much if these medium tyre runners come through, because remember, they will get the pain towards the end of the race. Kiefer deciding to go for the pain now, and he'll be much faster towards the end of the race. So Kiefer just wants to stay in this DRS, not get too caught up in the wheel-to-wheel battles.
We've seen a bit of an evolution at the start of the year in the early events, that it was all hard tyre to medium tyre as Josh Edu makes his way on by, and the driver in 3rd place. Couple of podiums so far this year. He's been in terrific form, loving life at AlphaTauri, and he makes his way, as you see the stricken Ferrari in the background, but he makes his way through, staying in contact with Opmeer. Opmeer has done a lot of work in the last couple of laps because it was flirting with 1 second, wasn't it? And he knew that should that get set in stone, if you like, he was going to have a hard time racing Freddie Rasmussen. Freddie Rasmussen, so cool out front, so calm out front, but Opmeer, we've been waiting for it.
welcome to the Pro Championship this year. He's finally back where he would say he belongs, in a battle for victory.
Remember, these two were the ones that had the gamesmanship, the "oh no, you go through" on the last lap sort of stuff. Are we going to see that again on lap 36 of 36? It's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. Where are Ronha and Buraman going to filter out come the second phase and the second stint of this race? Here's Otmir sitting very comfortably in second place. He's got the DRS available, even if Freddie's a bit quicker, which, well, you would suspect that considering how good of a form he's been on this season. But Otmir is able to sit behind, save some energy, and to be honest with you, all the way down to Jake Benham. They are within the DRS train, so Benham just clinging on to the outskirts of Weigang, who's the final points-paying position, and an aggressive strategy from Mercedes may well allow for Benham to jump a few positions. That's what you need to do if you're Brendan Lee, Jake Benham. You need to go different to try and get yourself in the mix of this massive DRS train.
The train that always seems to be there, so evenly matched are our drivers in the field. Wonderful sequence of corners in the middle part of the lap. It goes wide as possible into turn 12, bringing us into the Forest Sol, the old baseball stadium. The team that used to play at that point now play at turn 1, where there's another stadium off the road in the background for Luke Smith, and that opens the door for Paradis.
Does indeed. These two fighting quite hard, but unfortunately for them, they're 4 seconds away from Daniele Haddad in 14th place. So there's been a lot of things going on for Paradis, Smith, Presneda, Staukalek. No such miracle drives for the Haas driver today. But Otmir still very much within touching distance. And, well, Barry Buramand is very much in danger of losing a bit of DRS to Ronha ahead. And we just saw on board with Otmir there that he didn't have a lot of energy to play with either. Of course, Mexico, very high-speed track, so not a lot of time to save up that battery. But it also shows that Freddie Rasmussen is setting some decent pace out there for Otmir to have to use a lot of his energy.
Lucas Blakely has there's a few tasks for Lucas Blakely, but he's got to try and get to the podium. We go back to the never-ending story of Paradis and Smith battling corner after corner, and it's medium up against the hard, and they're still at it, and he spun him round and hit him for good measure as well. The old 1-2 punch from Luke Smith, and the Alfa Romeo is displaced, but race control will be looking at that.
Did we not see the real-life Formula 1, Luke Smith? We know that doesn't work into that corner. But unfortunately, yeah, some contact there. I think Smith would have picked up a little bit of front wing damage as well, but they're not fighting for any points out there. They were just giving it large. And it's good to see some entertainment out there as Longate is closing in on Buramand, who you can see is struggling for energy with the flashing red light on the back of that McLaren Shadow car. And you do wonder when the likes of Weigang, who is the only soft tyre runner out there, will decide to come into the pits.
Yes, still out there, still competitive. Complete meeting in the middle at the moment of those strategies. Marcel Kiefer ahead on the hard tyres, dropped away. Weigang on the softs, maximum attack, and how long can he extend his stint? Do like it when we get an event in the Pro Championship that mirrors what we've just seen in Formula 1. I think there would have been plenty of you crying out for split strategies for the teams racing on Sunday. We've got split strategies everywhere at the moment. In the early stages, you have to say a good recovery. We're back to it once again. Luke Smith, wheel to wheel, Staukalek, and he is looking once again, having taken that damage, and that's a real disappointment for him because he was fighting and okay, wasn't for points, but looking to make the move up the order, looking to gain some experience in his rookie campaign of this championship, and instead finds himself filtering to the back of him.
Ronha's lost DRS to Blakely, as we now see Longay trying to shape up a move on Buramand. Does he look to the inside? I reckon he might have a little gander here.
Will he look for it? Always thinking about it. Very, very tight there. We go on board Nicholas Longay. And Longay finds himself in the wheel tracks, but not for much longer. This is going to be slam dunk as he stands on the brakes. Got to pick the spot. There's no point in fighting it. So you're seeing moves being completed here because those on the hard tyres, as there's a little bit of a moment as he kicks up the rear. and he will then focus his attentions on Thomas Ronhaar.
He will indeed. Ronhaar's not looking too bad, to be honest with you, considering he's got the fastest stint coming up. And 1.8 seconds off the back of the lead train is not unassailable by any stretch of the imagination. So Ronhaar showing once again some very good pace, despite being on the slower tyre. Buremand didn't really matter again if Longuet goes through at this stage. He's still within the DRS and very close to Ronhaar as well. We now look a little bit further back to Joni Tourmala having a strong race, it has to be said. Currently P8 in the AlphaTauri and shaping up a move potentially on Barry Buremand. Of course, Tourmala on the medium tyre as well. You look down to the steering wheel, you can see he is deploying absolutely every bit of his energy to try and get through, but I think Buremand is as well.
Trying the overtake, trying the move, and it gets him close enough. This is a return to form, Joni Tourmala. He's got his teammate up in third as well. Very competitive third as the top three filtered their way through. In laps, out laps. Are you going to go longer? Are you going to go onto the fresh rubber sooner? Big considerations for everyone to go through. Thomas Ronhaar now 2.2 seconds. He wouldn't want it to extend too far away from that. We saw at Monza, it's difficult to catch the DRS train, even with a superior compound of tyre, if you're chasing down 3 seconds. So he won't want much more work to do. He's doing well to stay in contact. The rookie sensation of this season so far. Just like the real thing a couple of days ago, this is a slow burner that's going to have an explosive finish. You know that's going to be the case when Otmir is trying to return to the top step. He's trying to return to being competitive. Big breakthrough for our reigning champion. Josh Ido looking for that first win. Lucas Blakely looking to maintain the championship lead. He needs Otmir to get past Rasmussen, and he needs to improve past. But considering where he was after qualifying, the fact he's in this mix will be very cheering for him indeed.
It will indeed. Longuet will be cheering if he can get through on Ronhaar, but decides against it into turn one. I think as things stand right now, it'll be level on points between Rasmussen and Blakely, which will be quite lovely, wouldn't it, going into round 9 tomorrow. And this is a good run from Longuet here. It's going to be an easy move up the inside.
And no point in fighting it for Ronhaar. In fact, losing positions efficiently, never said that.
He lifted, didn't he? He let him through.
Losing positions efficiently, as daft as it sounds, could be the key to being competitive at the end here. Minimising the time loss is vital.
Well, that's the thing, right? He's got less pace right now than what Longuet clearly has. If Ronhaar can just sit in the DRS, he will gain from this. So it's not a bad thing that Longuet's got through, unless he clears him by a second. But right now it is 6/10. We've got 3 DRS zones around here as well. So Ronhaar will not be too sad to see Nicolas Longuet on the medium tyres go through.
Fascinating. I would love to know what Ronhaar and Buremand are thinking at the moment. Are they worried this is the wrong strategy? Are they worried there's going to be too much to do later on when you've got the top 4, part of a train? They know that if things go to plan, it's going to be the same. Could easily have driver warnings, could easily have penalties as we cycle through the field.
Weigang sped in the pit lane, that's going to cost him.
The sort of thing. All of that work on the soft tyre and then your race undone with a moment like that. Focusing on Jake Benham, who's taking part in his first event, his second race, and he's finding himself chasing the man that used to run with that team, the man that took titles, Brendan Lee, now with Ferrari.
And he can see his first ever points right in front of him. Shanaka Clay currently running in 10th. You had Simon Weigang there, but he's picked up a 5-second penalty, which could change at the end of the race if they decide to dispute it for whatever reason. But right now, we have to say that Shanaka Clay is in the final points paying position. So Benham has something to aim for here. They've lost the train ahead, but Shanaka Clay, Brendan Lee, he's got to fight a 2-time champion for that, but he looks up to the task right now.
Well, this is interesting. We're poised at the moment. And on Sunday, we were poised throughout the entire race. And then in the final 15 laps, oh, OK, that was it. But Josh Ido, when is he going to not be satisfied with podiums? When is he going to go all in for the win? I feel that he is, considering he's not appeared in every single race, he's potentially in a position to take even more risks than Otmir, who has found himself struggling at one point at the very back of the field yesterday. He will be desperate for victory. You've got different narratives all over the place here, as in comes Nicolas Longuet to go onto the hard tyre. He's the first one to get the benefit of the new rubber. First of all, though, he's got to go through a little bit more pain. He's got to bring it into the temperature window.
let's bear that in mind as well for Ronhaar and Buremund, who will want to get back to this top 4. And is he about to get passed by Staukalek? It's going to be close, but it looks like he's just about got enough speed. Is that this hard tyre warm-up is more painful than when you go onto the mediums. So that will work in the benefit of Ronhaar and Buremund when they change to the mediums. That'll be a slight time gained on that part. So this race is by no means over. I fully expect to see Ronhaar and Buremund in the mix and maybe a 6-way fight for the win. I'd love to see that, wouldn't you, Alex? That would be quite chaotic.
Sign me up for that. So Nicolas Longuet's actually got a little window there to attack clear air, bring the tyre in the way that works. No rush to defend positions or anything there, so he's got a nice amount of free air to attack. Everyone, do they respond? That's going to be fascinating when they do eventually get rid of the tyres. We're back to Jake Benham. And will Jake Benham be able to shape the move? Johnny Tormela's come in to the pits. There he is, making his way in the bottom of your screen. We're back to Jarno Opmeer beginning to push 0.3 of a second for the lead of the race.
So this is the risk that I was saying sort of earlier with the tyre strategies, and Longuet had to do that. He had to roll the dice, put on some fresh tyres, and try to gain the time lost to the front 4 to maybe join this fight. Even if he's got a couple of lap older hard tyres, at least he'll be in the mix and hopefully have DRS, and then he can fight, he can scrap like we saw in Monza. It doesn't necessarily work if you're Barry Buremund, but he certainly gave it a good go. So we now turn our attention to Opmeer. Have a look at that battery, that's quite healthy around the circuit of Mexico. And he's just sitting there waiting to pounce, which is something we say a lot in F1 Esports. And they're all trying to save as much energy as possible. But right now, who is going to blink first? Who is going to go for that strategy? But you have to say, there's not a huge amount of benefit of going for the undercut and trying to take the lead unless you're clearing DRS, which is very, very difficult.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them all. Josh Edo's gone in along with Lucas Blakely, so they've gone together.
That could work. You know, that could work if both of them are there. They can work together with a bit of DRS.
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see all 4 come in at the same time, but they proved that wrong immediately. But 2 at the same time, that's vital. So it's as they were, Edo ahead of Blakely. But there is a possibility here. They can drag themselves into contention. If Rasmussen and Opmeer start to fight, you wouldn't expect them to at this stage. They start to fight, they could bring themselves in as they filter out. And Edo, Blakely and Longuet, those who have made their stops.
Yeah, where's Longuet, crucially? 2.1 seconds behind, but will have warm hard tyres compared to the warm-up phase that Edo and Blakely will go through. In fact, Blakely's just out of a second behind Edo, so that could hurt his race, and potentially a bit of time lost there if we can't get within 1 second. I would fully expect to see Freddie Rasmussen and Jarno Opmeer thinking about a pit stop this lap. But then again, are they thinking, look, is it the worst thing ever to be 3rd or 4th in that train if you've got 2 or 3 lap fresher tyres come the end of the race? This is a long race, 50%. All of you league racers out there have been asking for this. We've got it. Strategy.
Now, this is fascinating. In comes our race leader, Jarno Opmeer to P1. They've not gone the same way. Your question from a few moments ago, is it the worst thing to be 3rd? I don't think so. 4th, you've got to do real work if you're 4th in that train. And Rasmussen wasn't waiting to find out whether he was going to be shuffled backwards. And he has responded the next lap along. So he's going to have fresher tyres, but he's going to have to go through the pain of warming it up. Ferocious pace out there. Now, who are we going to get? So that's the Alpha moving through, out of sequence then, but he's got track position. And so it's Rasmussen, Edu, Blakely, but that warm-up phase is going to bring Edu back into play. He'll go inside a second as Rasmussen brings his tyres up to temperature.
Certainly will. How many times have we seen Opmeer go different, though? How many times has he won races with a strategy we've gone, oh, what's he doing? He's going longer. But he loves a fresher set of tyres at the end of a race, and he is continuing on that trend. He's not reacting to what everybody else is doing. He's sticking to his game plan. Will it work out? Well, we'll have 20 laps to find that out. But how much longer does Opmeer go? Do we see him pit at the end of this lap for a couple of lap fresher hard tyres than the likes of Edu and Blakely? We have to see Edu further
Opmeer's in.
Well.
Opmeer is into the pits. He went 1 lap longer. So Ronhaar takes the lead. He gets rid of his hard tyres that are being bolted to the Mercedes. as Borreman comes in and pits. So Otmir went 1 lap longer than Rasmussen, who went longer than Edu and Blakely. Blakely inside a second momentarily. That's very tight between Rasmussen. Now where is Jarno Otmir? Look back, that's ferocious pace that Otmir has unleashed. And Otmir, he's still warming the tyres, but he's got track position over Freddie Rasmussen. And we're now in crucial corners for the race, because going longer might have paid off here. Rasmussen will be gaining with every single metre. How quickly can he bring those hard tyres in? This is the battle for the lead right now. And if they start scrapping, but Edu looks like he's got a bit of a run. He's close, but not close enough. And they are glued together. A change in net position on the road. Otmir back in position to win for the first time this season. He's ahead of Freddie Rasmussen, who won't be pleased with that. Josh Edu's ahead of Lucas Blakely, but can Rasmussen make the early move? The problem, though, is that Otmir will. He's got the car ahead. He'll get DRS. He'll be able to defend. What an in and out lap from our two-time champion.
Yeah, that's worked out beautifully for Otmir. He's got that 1 lap fresher tyres, which isn't a massive advantage, but it's still a small advantage that he'll have at the end of the race to fight off the likes of Rasmussen and Edu. And crucially as well, Nicholas Longay with that undercut has worked beautifully to get into the fight for the win.
It's a problem there. The Alpha clears Otmir, and now Otmir is stranded without DRS, so that leaves him vulnerable. He will get it, of course, from the detection zone, but then after this, he is stranded without it. And now he's going to have to fight with the impressive race winner directly behind him. Freddie Rasmussen looking to try and convert a pole in Mexico for the first time. The man who's been the benchmark on 1 lap pace, looking to fight his way through. And Otmir will have huge satisfaction, though, again, having got the strategy right. Now it's all about tactics for track position towards the end. And we haven't discounted Ron Hart, because he did drop out of contention, but he's going very, very long. He's going to fight his way back, he will hope, but he'll need a massive gap between the hards and the softer compound that he puts on.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. Of course, Barry Burman was the other driver on the similar strategy to Ron Hart. He's already pitted, put on the medium tyres, and he is catching this queue very quickly indeed.
And Ron Hart's in.
Yeah, now into the pits as well. He'll probably filter out a little bit further back, maybe Tormala Kiefer territory. But Burman is spending a lot of energy, I think, and also a bit of tyres as well to get onto the back of Longay. Then he can sit and get ready for within this DRS train to go on the attack. It's 1.1 already as Barry Burman sets the fastest lap, and we cannot discount Burman and Ron Hart on the alternate strategy.
So watch out for where Ron Hart heels back into the order. That's going to be crucial. He might lose a position. He does lose a position. Joni Tormala, who filters through. Jarno Otmir up to third. Time penalty there. Multiple warnings could easily happen to many out there. Expect that to be later on in the race. And there is Ron Hart. There's a stroke of luck for Red Bull. They've got Marcel Kiefer ahead on track. They've got Marcel Kiefer diving to the inside and taking P9 of Joni Tormala.
Yeah, Tormala didn't make that too difficult, I don't think, to a driver that's probably in the same room as him. So Kiefer gets through, and Tormala's now going to have a job to keep Ron Hart behind. And this is, yeah, a difficult moment now for Ron Hart. Yes, he's gone longer. Yeah, he's going to have the fresher medium rubber, but also he's, what, 2.5, 3 seconds behind Barry Burman at the moment. So he's going to have to get through these drivers pretty quick and make use of these medium tyres, as we see Lucas Blakely squirreling into the stadium section. And yeah, it's all to play for right now. Barry Burman has joined this queue very easily. Can he make his way through, though? Gets past Longay. Blakely will move out the way. No problem. I know we spoke about, oh, Drivers' Championship, this and that. They're there to secure the team's championship. And then how much further can Burman get up the field?
Rasmussen just waiting, just tucking into the slipstream.
Rasmussen waiting? How many times have we heard that?
And he is ticking off the laps, knows he can... I mean, Otmir had so much battery, didn't he? And he clearly used it to devastating effect on those in and out laps to get past his old rival for the title, Barry Burman, on a softer compound, currently in P8. Brendan Lee, Daniele Haddad still to make their stops, so he can see his way back through to the front, having taken the pain of running on those hard tyres. But this part of the circuit, there's no way through. Without a driver error ahead of you, you're just waiting. And you might have the grip, you might have the superior ability, but you're going to have to wait a while to get a chance to even shape for the move. And if the driver ahead has DRS, which they do, then you are waiting for turn 1 effectively.
Yeah, or a massive surprise dive bomb, which sometimes work, sometimes don't. But Burman, you can see, he's just got a little bit extra grip on those medium tyres compared to Longay ahead of him. But Longay's done very well, and he's got a very good run. My goodness me, how slow is Longay in a straight line?
Well, that's the traction. That's got to be the difference, hasn't it, as he drains the battery a little way. Now, that's the key. That's what we're talking about. So, can he make moves in different parts of that? Because he's not always going to have that advantage all the way through, but there is the difference. Barry Boromond up front. Now, what do McLaren do here, Matt? They've got a call to make.
They swap them. They have to, as soon as possible. Burman needs... There you go, done. Sorted. There was no delay whatsoever, no we are checking, straight onto it. Ronhart, actually, need to mention him, he was 2 seconds back. He's now already in the DRS train. Ronhart is flying out there.
And you've got Otmir not waiting around, getting past Daniele Haddad, and he's making that move. That is for track position. Those are different strategies meeting. Daniele Haddad and Jarno Otmir, wheel to wheel.
That's slow here. This is a great opportunity for Otmir.
But look at where he's... Yeah, that's exactly the point. If you catch at the wrong time, well, it was a risk to go around the outside of the corners that he did, and that is very tight. And Rasmussen getting through. And if you come across the Williams at the moment... Well, he's not got entirely through. Rasmussen finally finds his way by.
1.4 seconds now.
That could have decided the race. It's as simple as that. That could have decided the race because now there's no DRS. And that was just a driver, having not made their stop so far, losing the time. Entirely fair to fight, but it has given Otmir an opportunity. And now they're all over the road. And look at this. Ronhart now on the charge. And he's got Lucas Blakely ahead. All of the pain that the hard tyre runners went on earlier on being paid back, and he dropped about 4 seconds behind this lot. If he's able to retake it, it will be a mighty statement of intent. Drivers on the defense, drivers on the attack, an unusual curveball. There's a lot of predictability sometimes with what you're going to get in F1 Esports, but a driver staying out there for as long as possible, causing chaos in the mix right now, is scrambling things. Barry Boromond's up to 4th. Ronhart has cleared Lucas Blakely. He's cleared the Williams, and now those on the medium tyres are going on the attack.
This is causing chaos. It's great entertainment, but I reckon the drivers are going to have something to say about Daniele Haddad. I mean, look, he's going for something different, clearly going to go onto the softs at the end, but why is he fighting so hard with these drivers he is clearly not competing with? And I'm sure Freddie Rasmussen will be one of those pretty hot under the collar at the moment. He's 1.1 behind Otmir, clearly used a bit of energy to try and regain some of the time that was lost there, but Daniele Haddad was just a mobile chicane for the drivers over the last 2 laps or so. He's really struggling on those hard tyres, but the top 6 have managed to get through, and Ronhart is closing in now. P5 for him now. And Burman just ahead. He's got fresher tyres as Ronhart as well. I would not discount him whatsoever.
That is the closest thing in F1 Esports you will ever see to a safety car. That has completely changed things out of nowhere. No one would have predicted that at the start. Crucially for Freddie Rasmussen, where he caught the Williams, who we have to say did nothing wrong there to the letter of the law, entirely able to fight for the position, not in the same race in terms of lap time and strategy, but catching him at this part, it was, you're thinking, Otmir going around the outside, that's a little bit brave, but the fact he did so meant there was not a giant queue behind the Williams fighting their way through, and never seen that before in F1 Esports, and now it means that you've got Rasmussen working far harder than he would have needed to. He would have just been checking the laps. Okay, 23:36. We move on. We'll get to the penultimate lap. Then the commentators, they'll start making loud noises. Let's hear from Nicholas Longay now. He's driver P8.
Haddad ahead, making garbage. Making garbage. Interesting.
Daniele Haddad is into the pits, and well, you heard
sigh of relief.
You heard what Alpha thought of it. I don't mind a curveball. I mean, what a luxury these drivers have to never have to deal with a safety car. Closest thing you'll ever get to it. Remarkable change in the race. Barry Boromond, Thomas Ronhart in the mix. Jarno Opmeer just out of DRS range.
It's tantalisingly close, that Opmeer Rasmussen gap. He just about gets into that 1 second window, and then it's 1.1. Rasmussen is not too phased, I imagine, right now. 1.1. He can just try and slowly eke away at that gap, but he's probably used a lot of energy at this point. Opmeer is probably thinking, I can just save a bit here. And then Rasmussen, towards the end of the race, won't have as much in his arsenal. And that's Ronhar going very wide indeed. That will 100% be a warning for him. Remember, 3 warnings, you get a penalty. Ronhar doesn't want to do that too often.
I get the feeling there's going to be multiple black and white driving standards warning flags on your timing tower before the end of this. So, really entertaining, engrossing race here. Split strategies. Opmeer, Rasmussen, Edu, they all started the same way. They all made use of the medium tyre early on. Barry Borman, Thomas Ronhar, they decided to take the pain of running the hard tyre at the start, get the benefit of a quicker warm-up phase on the medium tyre. Then an unusual moment for a driver who's shown great pace. Daniele Haddad flashes across the season, he's shown great pace. He stayed out there, tried something different, was fully entitled to do so, but was racing these guys, and that curveball, that unusual occurrence, has given Jarno Opmeer over a DRS region lead. He is outside the 1 second window, and that strange and unusual circumstance of a driver being caught by those who have made a stop, waiting to make his mandatory stop, has completely changed things for Opmeer and Rasmussen, and an unusual occurrence. Sometimes we get the wet race without warning, sometimes we get the drying out race without warning. Today we had a driver going long and it caused chaos for those ahead. That's the state of the race on 25 of 36 laps of the Autodromo and Manos Rodriguez, which is as satisfying to watch as it is to say today, as Ronhar, he's looking for an incredible win here. If he comes back through and passes this lot, it will surely be his most satisfying drive in a season, man. A satisfying drive.
Well, he's going to have to get on with it, as you can see Buraman fighting Edo down towards turn 1.
Now this is vital for the man who's chasing his second win today, trying to go around the outside, moment of brinkmanship ahead, and those superior tyres make the difference. Barry Borman took the pain on the hard tyre, going aggressive on the medium, and now Ronhar knows that if he's going to go with him, he's got to go past the AlphaTauri immediately. That's late braking and then some, but even later by Thomas Ronhar, who follows Borman through. They're P3 and P4. They've got an opportunity to win this one. Freddie Rasmussen has no DRS to try and defend.
I'll tell you what, Freddie Rasmussen may well allow Barry Buraman to go through here, because then maybe Buraman and Ronhar on the medium tyres can close in that 1.5 second gap. Opmeer is clearing out front right now. 1.5 seconds is a gargantuan margin in F1 Esports, and forget energy saving, Opmeer is trying his damned hardest right now to stay out of that DRS window.
So Josh Edu on that strategy of starting on the mediums, going to the hards. Ronhar coming alive when he needed to now. Yesterday, these two put on a terrific show, Borman and Ronhar, in search of win number 2 in the championship. It went the way of the final lap. It was decided going down to Ascari with just a few corners of the race to go. Opmeer 1.6 seconds in the lead. Borman is going to be past Freddie Rasmussen, and then it will be those who started on the mediums against those who started on the hards. A return to the top step for Jarno Opmeer, or Barry Borman's most satisfying victory, his second victory in F1 Esports. And even if he does get through, he then might face the final part of the tournament, which is racing the only other guy, Thomas Ronhar, who tried the same strategy as him. Tantalizingly poised, brilliant race, unusual circumstances, and you are seeing a cracking battle around Mexico City.
You can tell Opmeer has not won this season, because he is driving like his life depends on it right now. When has he been quicker than Rasmussen this year? Here we go. Here's a replay of Ronhar seeing Edo and Buraman fighting ahead, and that was when he saw the opportunity to try and get through as well with a bit of energy. Edo goes defensive and sweeps all the way around the outside, Alex.
Yeah, just going all the way around. And that is a key move. keeps him in the DRS. Barry Borreman past Freddie Rasmussen. Barry Borreman to P2. And the McLaren driver will go to work. He is going to try and make up 1.6 seconds and try and take his second victory in the championship. McLaren swapped their drivers immediately. It was the right thing to do. They've launched the man who's having the better time around this circuit. And now Borreman taking a few points off Rasmussen in the championship. And it's Borreman trying to make his way through. Can Ronha clear Rasmussen and stay with Borreman? These are crucial corners in the race.
How is Borreman's pace going to be as we have 8 laps to go? How are those medium tyres going to be faring? Ronha, if he can get through on Rasmussen and then past Borreman, I'd say he's probably the best driver here in terms of race strategy and having the freshest mediums to chase after Otmir. But this race is by far over. If that gap between Otmir and Borreman goes under a second, we have got a proper race on our hands. You best believe Borreman wants P1 and nothing less. And Ronha here, he's got a decent amount of energy as well, you have to say. Not the best of exits though around the final corner. He'll still have a look at Rasmussen though.
What's he got? He's got 14, 12, 10, 9, 8% battery as he makes his way by. He's got DRS, he's got the inside line. Has he got the breaking point? Not quite. Rasmussen fighting it, doesn't want to let him by. Shows him to the outside, runs him out of road. Will they make their way through? Superior grip, but not with the ability to make the move, and Ido will be involved in this as well. We will be meters away from 3 wide. Can Ronha go super deep like he did before and turn the outside line into the inside? He's going to fight for it. They're still side by side. He's off the road. Ido's nearly got the pair of them. And Ido goes past the Haas, past the Red Bull. They're banging wheels. And when they get the power down, it's going to be the Haas. It's Thomas Ronha, but look at the time he's lost. He's outside of DRS, and Barry Borreman is surely the last man who can stop Jarno Otmir today.
Josh Ido just joined the fight and looked like he was going to be P3 at one point. Freddie Rasmussen's picked up a corner-cutting penalty. Now that will, I'm sure, be reviewed after the race, and I'm sure Red Bull will have a few words to say about that. Of course, Rasmussen left the track when they were going 3 wide.
He's nudging Ido through the stadium section. Get on with it, he's shouting. Oh, he did everything right in the opening stint. Daniele Haddad has a 3-second time penalty as well. All of that fighting, some of the best that we've seen this year. Rasmussen absolutely determined to fire his way by. And this is Marcel Kiefer on the medium tyres. This is Marcel Kiefer to P5.
Yeah, Ido did not make that hard for Kiefer either there into turn 1. Marcel Kiefer's having a solid drive, it has to be said. He was a bit out of contention around Lucas Blakeley territory, but he has thrust his Red Bull into P5. And that'll be a good haul of points for Red Bull at the moment. But look out in front. It is still 1.7 seconds, 1.8. It's kind of moving between those two. And Otmir looks in control at the moment. Borreman doesn't have an answer.
We'll see as we tick through. Have those medium tyres lost the best? Remember the hards, they still degrade as well. Battery situation with no slipstream is going to be tough to deal with. Barry Borreman has got that advantage. Ronha will be so frustrated with that all of the time, trying to stay competitive in that opening stint. And then just that's always that we talked about. There's a lot of cars to get past. The fact that there were a lot of cars to get past meant that you're always liable for one driver to get stuck in. Let's hear from the man in P2, fighting for this win. Is he running out of road? Barry Borreman.
Didn't hear a word.
No, me neither. If you did at home, congratulations.
Let us know what they said.
Please, let us know. Be terrific. He's running out of laps.
He's actually running out of time as well behind. Ronha 1.2 back now. So Borreman, we thought he's going to be looking ahead to Otmir. He may well be looking in his mirrors. Let's try again and hear from Barry Borreman.
Take 2.
And I can't catch Jarno.
There you go.
We could have told you that.
Can't catch Jarno.
Ronha can catch Borreman though. 1.1 seconds the gap.
Wow, he is scythed into his advantage.
Ronha off the track again there. I think he was, you know. He is sending it. Freddie Rasmussen's coming back into his own a little bit.
Freddie Rasmussen's pace is outrageous here. He's on the wrong tyre, and yet he's still going with them. He's got that penalty. The reason that it might be reviewed and be different is that if he went all four wheels off the road and was forced there, they might rescind that. So we'll take that with a pinch of salt for the moment, and we'll enjoy it if he can stay with him, because he's on the wrong tyre. And he's got one lap pace around here, but it's never working out. Now, here we go, with the championship leader having a tough day of it, having a tough event so far, and Jake Benham in just his second race, diving to the inside and taking 8th place.
Oh, look at Benham getting involved. P8's not scored any points yet in this F1 Esports series, and may well be coming home with 4 if we can keep Lucas Blakely behind. Lucas, the championship leader's having an absolute mare out there.
Well, it's vital. What's gone on today? Whoa, Lucas Blakely's not prepared to give it up. You're risking it to the inside. The nature of these corners, wheel to wheel, corner after corner. He's prepared to bang wheels. He's prepared to risk the damage to the car. He doesn't want to give it up. Someone's got to blink as we go into the sweepers, and Benham gets ahead.
Rasmussen's got ahead of Ronhard, but picked up another penalty whilst doing it. We missed that. We may well be able to get a replay at some point. But Rasmussen up to 3rd, but has picked up another 3-second time penalty. We may well see Lucas Blakely finish ahead of him at this rate.
This is genuinely remarkable. So precise normally, so accurate normally. It feels like it's been ragged today in a way that has been absolutely phenomenal. Let's see how that happened then. Let's get another look at what went on. And this is going to be Rasmussen up against Ronhard, and he barges into him. The unflappable man is furious with what's gone on, and that one will stand. That one will be a penalty.
That is a slam dunk penalty. What on earth has gone on here? I don't understand that at all. What has Rasmussen done?
Now that's
going to be a slam dunk, big penalty, I'd imagine, from the stewards there as well. Forget the corner cutting penalties. There'll be an additional one for running Ronhard out of road there.
This is going to bring Ronhard further into the championship battle, because Rasmussen's going to get a time penalty there.
He won't score any points, Rasmussen. He literally won't score any points. If he has those corner cutting penalties and he gets slapped with something else in the post-race review from the stewards, this is a gift for Blakely.
And it's a gift for Ronhard as well. Blakely's bad day wiped out. Ronhard gaining on the pair of them. Boromond, he's in the mix as well. One of the most extraordinary championships we've had. We said it was a 4-horse race. Well, it might be an incredibly close 4-horse race. By the way, all of this is going on, and Jarno Opmeer, having had a season that started with a battle for victory at the opening race of the year, then he was 11th, then he was 5th, then he was 4th, then he was 6th, then he was 4th, then he was 18th. Make some room on the shelf, because he's about to return to the top step in a couple of moments' time. Barry Boromond strong once again, a pair of P2s to really ignite his championship challenge. In this event, he's been the fastest McLaren driver. Another 5-second time penalty for Simon Weigang has been listed up there. Oh, he is in the pits. So both visits, he's gone there. Both times he's been pinged. Thomas Ronhard, I think he'll be astonished that the Iceman really sending one on that just wasn't viable at that stage, and a tough day, going from difficult to lost points for Freddie Rasmussen and Thomas Ronhard. Pace in qualifying everywhere he goes. His direction changed there. He's always dancing on the edge. But
Rasmussen's got within DRS as well, Alex, of Boromond. Now, this won't affect Freddie Rasmussen's finishing position, probably, but it'll help Ronhard.
Really could help Ronhard. This is fascinating, because usually these guys so precise, so accurate, so entertaining with it, and you just marvel at the ability. Today we're seeing the human side. Today we're seeing the frustration boil over. We're seeing different strategies in play for Daniele Haddad. We're seeing the drivers having to pick their way through and not wait, having to battle earlier than expected, and it wasn't about waiting to the last laps, it wasn't about ticking them off, you had to improvise. Opmeer got around the outside of turn 6, and he's cleared off into the distance when he got past the Williams. The others, catching him at different parts of the track, well, that caused different stories. Then Rasmussen getting that penalty, the frustration grows. Those who started on the medium tyres, it looked good for them earlier on. Those who started on the hards and then went to the mediums, they came back into the race. That's how Burman got to 2nd. That's how Ronhard will go to 3rd, and maybe check the result later for what happened to Simon Weigang, because penalties just appearing any time you like. At the moment, we're on the penultimate lap of the race, a race that is going to belong to Jarno Opmeer, our 2-time champion. but will it be Barry Borremund? Will Barry Borremund have to deal with an angry Freddie Rasmussen trying to force his way by?
I'm still mystified by that move, Alex. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, obviously, I'll wait before casting judgment to maybe hear from Freddie Rasmussen, but I can't. The move was never, ever on. I wonder if there was previous. Maybe Ronha ran him out of road earlier on. I don't know. But it's a mysterious move from Rasmussen.
Watch Kiefer. Kiefer's got a chance here. The driver in P5 might be about to get past Ronha. What a topsy-turvy day in F1 Esports. The Haas driver hugging the inside line, saying to Kiefer, go the long way round, and then having the door closed in his face. Still, the Haas leads the Red Bull driver, second one in the row. This is far more competitive. For the final points paying possession, Brendan Lee and Joni Tormler are having a real battle as well. And this is medium tyre versus medium tyre, and Kiefer got shuffled backwards earlier on, but he's had a phenomenal pace. And the fact that Rasmussen has been able to battle this intensely on the hard shows you that he had a mountain of pace. Brendan Lee's got a penalty there for multiple warnings of track limits, and that's going to bring in Shanaka Clay. He is fighting now in 11th position. All sorts going on, Matt. We're on the final tour. We're on the last few corners of the last lap, and race control are going to be here until about midnight, sorting all of this out. The battle for P2 is going to the line, but this man's day has finally arrived. Round the final corner for the final time. Jarno Opmeer is a winner again in F1 Esports. He takes his first win of the year. Barry Borremund comes over the line in second. Thomas Ronha kept Kiefer at bay. That could be crucial in the championship battle. Kiefer in fourth, Josh Ito in fifth, then Longe, Blakely, Benham, Clay, Tormler, and Freddie Rasmussen, with all the pace in the world, finds himself out of the points on a dramatic day unlike any that we've seen this year.
So much to digest, Alex, so much to digest. But Jarno Opmeer back at the top, just give him a good qualifying performance and he can deliver, and my God, did he do.
Well done to Jarno Opmeer, who is a winner once again in F1 Esports. And I tell you what, there is a lot to unpack there. Freddie Rasmussen's race getting away from him.
That webcam.
Take a deep breath, say goodbye to the webcam, and say hello to Tom Deacon.
Thank you so much, Matt. Alex Jakes, brilliant work from those two gentlemen. However, I have to say, what an understatement when he says there's a lot to unpack there. What did you see in that race, Maxime? Congratulations to Jarno Opmeer, his first podium since Bahrain, which is the first race of the season. Back to a bit of form, but...
Yeah, great win from Jarno, but like, I don't know what happened with Freddie, but he got one penalty and then another one, and then it was just craziness all over the place. Had a bit of a dive bomb with Thomas, so... Yeah,
I mean,
pretty frustrating.
That needs its whole show in itself to talk through. But Jarno, I mean, he stayed out that one lap longer for the overcut. And then I don't think he was expecting Daniele Haddad to stay out as long as he did. I mean, that is what we love, the drama of F1 Esports and the Pro Championship. But Jarno, when the pressure's on, he's delivered there. And we haven't seen that this year. This could mean he kicks on. And I feel like at the start of this show, Maxime, when I asked you, Thomas Ronha, are the Dutch fans moving to him now? All of a sudden, back to Jarno. Yeah, no, Jarno did a great job. Of course, stayed out one lap longer, used some ERS to get ahead with the pit stop and got the first place. Then he overtook Daniele just in time so he could get some breathing air and got the DRS gap. So Freddie didn't have DRS and then he could just drive away. So amazing result and really happy for him. OK, one Dutchman to another Dutchman. He's the rookie. He's the sensation. He won last night in Monza. However, the incident between him and Freddie Rasmussen, the ice-cold Dane of Freddie Rasmussen was pushed by Thomas. I mean, what did you see in this battle? Yeah, I don't know, like, of course, they're racing hard, but it was a bit of chaos, as we can see here. Thomas braking late, wanting to pass him, and it seems like there's enough room, but Freddie just went wide and got the penalty there. And I think that just made him a bit frustrated. Of course, there were two Red Bulls, one AlphaTauri, and he got off here as well, got another penalty, and then this happened. Yeah, wow. We don't want to see that in F1 Esports, and I'm sure
there will be maybe another penalty for this incident.
Yeah, I mean, look, they battled hard before, earlier in the season, in his maiden win for Thomas Ronnaer in Zandvoort. And I feel like there's I wouldn't even say tension. Look, I'm not trying to make drama of the situation, but at the same time, it happens for these drivers. They can get under each other's skin. It happens a lot, but it's not like Freddie. He's ice cold all the time.
Like, I didn't expect this at all. Like, he's very cool, very calm, very relaxed, no emotions. But now I think this was a bit too much, and then he just, yeah, snapped.
In terms of Barry Borman, we were impressed with him in quali today. You tipped him to maybe finish on pole. For him and Lucas, their idea and decision to make sure that Barry could get maximum amount of points, that shows great teamwork and a team ethic.
Yeah, it's a great teamwork, but for Lucas, he didn't really get the results he wanted. So I don't know what the driver championships standings will be, so I'm very interested to see if there's some change and see who is out on top.
Okay, right then, soon we will catch up with Steph Wentworth. Actually, we can do it right now. Steph Wentworth, you're all the way in Zurich with the Alfa Romeo team. Had a bit of everything that race. I see Nico is just to the side of you. We'll take it away, find out how he felt that race went.
Yeah, well, just a small correction. We're in Hinwil, not in Zurich, but it's close by. Just got to correct you on that, Tom. Nico, it was a great race from you. You made up several positions up to P6. I'm sure you're feeling good.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect much from this race. I knew it was going to be very hard to overtake. But I chose before the race to go for a setup that would help me with the tire wear, and that's why I pitted so early, because I knew something like that would happen where they would have gapped me from the DRS train, because I knew some people at the front were going to start on mediums anyway, so I knew I had to undercut to be able to catch them back. So that's what I did, and the rest of the race was pretty much just to hold on to the DRS for dear life. The whole race we were pushing flat out ERS on the whole lap, and it was very hard to keep it within the track limits, that's for sure. But yeah, honestly, I didn't expect much more than this.
Well, it was a great job. Points again for you, maintaining that streak that you've got. What did you make of all the chaos that was kind of going on ahead of you? Because there were lots of other drivers getting involved with each other, getting close, and some exceeding track limits as well.
Yeah, I saw all the chaos right in front of me. I probably had the best seat of the house, but I knew I couldn't do much, even if that was going to happen, because obviously my tire wear was much worse than everyone else's. So I just prayed that people would make mistakes or crash into each other. But opportunities didn't quite come my way today. But I'm ready to go again tomorrow.
Well, final one from me. Tomorrow we are going to Austin, Texas, and you have mentioned to me a little bit about searching for redemption. How much are you looking forward to going back to COTA tomorrow?
Probably, I'd say my best track out of the three in terms of pace from practice, and obviously redemption from last year, because I think I could have done much better, and hopefully I will do much better tomorrow.
Well, you guys, the team all seems to be doing really, really well. The vibe is really positive here, so best of luck for tomorrow, and congratulations on the result today.
Thank you very much. Ciao, guys.
Thank you so much, Steph. Yes, I should have been more vague. I should have just said Switzerland. Look, I mean, my stand-up career, I've gigged in Lausanne, Zurich, Geneva, but we are in London right now. Maxime, great drive there from the Alfa Romeo guys. They've got the result, more points on the board. In terms of fastest, the best lap time of the day, DHL fastest lap, went to Thomas Porodic, which I can confirm now. But that's good confidence for drivers trying to get more points throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people pitted at before the last lap to try to get the fastest lap. So I'm happy that he could do it, and congrats to him.
Yeah, a driver of the day back at Zandvoort as well. And it's his first season. This, for anyone who's new to the F1 Pro Championship, he's very much a season of rookies, doing brilliantly. And the old guard having the apple cart upset a little bit. Let's confirm the race result. This is a provisional result. So obviously penalties have to be looked at again by a whole team of stewards. But as you can see, I'm looking straight away to Joni Tillmüller down at the bottom. Return to form in terms of picking up a point for the legend in the F1 Esports, and Shanaka Clay picking up a valuable point, 2 points in fact, for Williams. So Nicholas Longuet 7th, Lucas Blakely in 6th, adding in some points there. And then Simon Weigang down in 90th, if you don't like to see it. David Tunitsa. I'm looking there on the screen. Freddie Rasmussen relegated to 11th, so not even in the points. Lucas will be happy about that. Before I get more thoughts from Maxime, let's have a little chat with Hayden Gullis, Aramco driver of the day, sir.
Yes, the Aramco driver of the day. There were some great drives out there today, but it had to go to the one and only Jarno Opmeer, leading from P3, in qualifying, getting the lead through his amazing strategy. It's so good to see Jarno Opmeer back on top. He's really struggled so far this season, and this is where that race was won. Brilliant strategical call to go later whilst Freddie was struggling with the tyre warm-up. Then he got out in front and obviously helped out massively by this moment with Daniele Haddad holding up the rest of the field. The overtake on Haddad round the outside, a risky move, but it was an amazing move to get done because Haddad was really holding him up through the third sector. And then basically from there, Jarno Opmeer was out clear in front. It was a 3.4 second lead in the end, which you rarely get in F1 Esports. And basically once he had that strategical call, he dictated the race, didn't he?
Dictated the race. I love that, and a great way to sum up Jarno Opmeer. We're so used to him from 2021 season dictating all the races, but that's great to see, back to form. However, a shout-out needs to be made for Jake Benham, and here's the excitement bit. We would love to have been able to speak to Jarno, your race winner today in Mexico, but Maxime, you'll be heading down to the Mercedes factory, so be hanging out with the guys, so lots to chat with them about.
Yeah, looking forward to see that headquarters too. And I know Jarno for quite a while, so it's nice to catch up with him and happy that he got his first win. So I think the vibes will be better than the last couple of events. So
yeah, look at the headquarters that we're looking at. And also, I feel like we noticed that, Hayden, the sort of the clang. I heard the clang of, yeah, me and Jarno, we're like besties. It's going to be brilliant. And you know what? There's also another fantastic driver there. Part of the mix is Danny Moreno. And we expect it, you know, in the high-profile sport that this is. You get a bit of backlash on Twitter, not performing that well, but Danny's a fantastic driver. But Jake, good for him to be able to get some points. Yeah, your first points in the series. Obviously, yesterday was a bit more of a struggle. I think not having your teammate to help you out, it let him down a little bit and put a little bit too much pressure on him for his first race. But to get that first couple of points, he's going to take that weight off his shoulders, and from now he can build upon that and hopefully put himself up at the top. OK, I want to ask that question because I did mention Shanaka Clay picking up 2 points for Williams. They're right down at the bottom in the team championship at the moment. But Daniele Haddad, what was that? I love him. I love that Italian and how he went for it. But it wasn't expected, was it? Yeah, I mean, usually when the drivers are on these alternate strategies, they kind of let the other ones through because they don't want to lose time themselves. I guess Haddad wanted to be on Opmeer's Christmas list coming up, so I'm sure he's going to get a gift somewhere later on. OK, Maxime, obviously with that, the points added up, we'll have a look at those maybe before the end of the show. Definitely tomorrow, analyse everything. But Lucas Blakely, still a chance for him in the Drivers' Championship, knowing that in second place, Freddie Rasmussen wasn't able to pick up any points in that race. Yeah, he still had quite a big gap ahead, and as we can see now, he's still ahead, so that's good for him, but if you want to take it over... Yeah, I mean, 126 points for Lucas Blakely. Next, with 106, is Barry. Then you get Freddie Rasmussen. This is a four-way battle now. And then Jarno Opmeer, if you can continue that form, get a pick-up, another win at Kota tomorrow. I mean, this is going to go down to the wire, which we would love. Yeah, a four-way battle at the moment as it stands for the championship. Looking at the team's championship now, McLaren's shadow 100 points, nearly 100 points clear of Red Bull Racing, and it looked like it was going to be a good day for Red Bull. You had Rasmussen and Kiefer up there, but Rasmussen, we don't know what he was doing. He just threw it away for the team, and it's very unfortunate there. OK, right. Done. Mexico. Monza's also done. This is event 3. That means there's 4 more races to come your way. We will start tomorrow with the Quali Show, 3:30 p.m. If you've never come to join us, it's a lot of fun. Do not miss that. Matt Gallagher hosting everything, and then we'll be back for for the Circuit of the Americas at 7:30 p.m. Final thoughts on the day. I'll say thank you very much to Alex Shakes, to Matt Gallagher. They're waving furiously up there. The Maroon Brothers will be back tomorrow. Hayden, thank you so much. And of course, to Maxine MXM, enjoy Mercedes. We won't be jealous at all, will we, Hayden? Right then, here we go then. Tomorrow, it's coming down to the wire. We go to the Circuit of the Americas. The first question I'll ask Hayden before we say goodbye is Jarno Opmeer going to be picking up another win?
Yes, I said it's the redemption show. It's the redemption event.
OK, the redemption event. Look forward to it. We'll catch you back here tomorrow at 7:30. Before that, the Quali Show. Do not miss it.
Lights out, and we are racing.
Now, there are no errors available to the drivers without serious repercussions. And he's made the move as we expected. And he spun him round and hit him for good measure as well.
Who is going to blink first?
And that is very tight, and Rasmussen getting through. That could have decided the race. It's as simple as that. That's late braking and then some, but even later by Thomas Ronhaar. He's going to fight for it. They're still side by side. He's off the road. Round the final corner for the final time. Jarno Opmeer is a winner again in F1 Esports. He takes his first win of the year.